remember one time Pete told me not to do drugs. Now I showed up at a fucking hotel on God knows how many hits of acid. That's all I can say about that story, because that story got wild. I mean, I was off so much fucking acid, bro.
And they weren't feeling it, I'm guessing?
Oh, fuck no, bro.
I couldn't see P being real tolerant of an acid trip.
I was covered in mud. And
wow.
Yeah, bro, it was a fucking trip, bro. Yeah, bro, 100%. So, I can honestly say that. And, I remember and to do that, I snuck out here to L.A. Now, I took care of business. I sold out shows and, did my interviews, and I was on time for everything I had to do, and I never was, drugged out during one of those. Like I told you, I'd never done that before. But,
right.
At the same time, they was, strict, no drugs, Maco, no rock star shit. And sure enough, I snuck off to go do them.
Right.
So, I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. But I feel like I said, you can't tell the kids how it's going to turn out, because we still had a certain drive in us to let us know our limits,
right,
to where we could and couldn't go, even within ourselves. And a lot of these kids don't have that. They depend on fucking YouTube video, instructional video to tell them how far they should go, or goddamn the Twitter conscience, that's what I call it, the hive mind that exists on Twitter.
That's the weird part, is that I feel like if these kids, like they're able to take in information so easily, how at a certain point when you see Juice and Fredo and Peep and Yams and all these people die, it's like, doesn't that just kind of make you want to back off a little bit? Like I sometimes that worries me. Is like, how many examples do we need?
They need a million, bro.
Yeah, apparently. Every generation needs their own
because
examples.
they make the villains out of the heroes.
Yeah.
It's like that fucking line from Batman. That's one of the best lines ever run in movies. You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And that's what the kids want. They either want you to die a hero, or they wait until you try and tell them a better way, and then they vilify you.
Right.
And how do you escape that? It's not until conversations like this now, where how many years later is it after they vilified me, that now we can just sit here and just casually laugh about it and talk about it, where I don't have any fucking animosity or energy toward it, so people know I really don't give a fuck. And we can just laugh about it, and it's like, oh, damn, man, you guys were pretty stupid to think that, But by then, look how many people have died. Look how many people you just named.
And also, it's just, that the industry is always ready for its next kid that is willing to talk about shit in a totally ignorant sense, and will make that sound cool to the young kids.
They're always ready for the next tragedy. They're always ready. They prep it. They prep the tragedy. They can see how it's happening. They can see oh yeah, this kid, he's a star. He's a star. But they really mean like he's a comet. You know what I'm saying? They don't really, because stars shine forever. They mean, he's a comet. Oh, I can see him taking off, and you see that burnout happen too. And they don't try to stop it.
Let me ask you this though: do you think that, like, what should the management and the label do in a situation like Juice WRLD's, where you have an artist traveling constantly, in the studio constantly, making a shitload of money, making a shitload of music, but he's all fucked up on pills?
Because he was trying to avoid some extra charges, and I feel like
I don't know if I buy that though. I feel like he might have just been all fucked up on perks in the first place, and then the fucking the feds zoom in, and he just got so freaked out that I just don't. I refuse to believe that he was.
It depends on what he was on, perks or Oxys. If he was on perk 10s, all that fucking Tylenol, if he took a whole bottle, that would have killed him by itself. If he was on 30s, I don't see. I mean, you can freak out on 30s, bro. You can freak out, and your heart will go up. But they're saying he took a bottle of whatever it was, a bunch of them.
Yeah, I don't know.
So even if they hit him with the Narcan, if he was with 10s, then the Tylenol would have killed him. But if they hit him with Narcan on the 30s, I don't see why he wouldn't have lived. Because Narcan can handle fentanyl. Fentanyl is, thousands of times stronger than Oxycontin, right?
Right.
So if it can take out fentanyl, it should be able to take out the Oxycontin, no matter how many milligrams it is, right? So I'm feeling like he took a bunch of 10s, maybe, and that's what killed him. I feel like that Tylenol, because they said his heart, they said they hit him with the Narcan and he came back, right? He was conscious and aware, and then he seized and his heart fucking dropped out, right? That sounds like a Tylenol overdose to me, It sounded like his blood thinned out, and he couldn't clot right.
Are we still just we're waiting on more information
I
about
think we're waiting
exactly
on
what
more
happened?
information for that, but at the same time, I feel like either way it's a tragedy because you can't control his situation. I mean, look, I never really was like heavy in his music. The girl I care about, she's really heavy in his music,
Yeah.
and so I started listening to it like super heavy, like right before he passed and right after, and I can hear him speaking on his own drug use,
Yeah.
and I feel like he knew that it was copious, but I feel like he was still teeter-tottering between heavy use and addiction.
Right.
Because when you're addicted, it's a lot harder for you to speak on it so clearly. When you just want people to leave you alone so you can do your drugs, then you speak on it in an intelligent manner. Like, okay, look, I know I'm doing these and it could kill me and whatnot, but like, chill out. You know what I'm saying? I'll be all right.
Right.
And I feel like that's how he was speaking about it. So I don't think he just OD'd on the plane and just like, oh yeah, fuck it, I'm doing all the pills. I don't think it happened like that.
No, I mean, I definitely don't think he wanted anything like that to happen. But I mean, I will say that Juice is different than somebody like Pump, where Pump, I don't know if he's even doing drugs now, but I never felt like Pump wanted to hear it in terms of like people telling him how bad the drugs were.
Right.
Whereas Juice would gladly engage.
And a conversation about it.
He would gladly, like the conversation will go there all the time unprovoked to end up talking about, I remember him asking me one time, like, I took 7 the other day. You think that's bad? I'm like, yes, I think that's bad.
Yeah, see, that's the thing about it. I feel like anybody that'll communicate on that level about it knows or is worried about their own addiction. And have I reached addiction to you?
And he's someone who would be talking to me about doing it in high school, like being
Right.
off hella Zans in
Taking
high
it
school.
back,
But he seemed to like understand the nature of his addiction and to be very much like looking at it, and he's
Right.
aware of it and conscious of it, which a lot of people are so caught up in the middle of it that they can't be honest about
and
it.
that's why I think he was a different case. I
Yeah.
don't think that he was someone that said that. I don't feel like that was something that happened due to an addiction stage. I feel like it happened more out of fear. They had a fuckload of guns and pounds on that flight. And I feel like he felt like, I'm already finna go down for these fucking pounds.
But the
I
truth
don't
is
tell me
that, I mean,
pillhead on top of it.
we'll probably never know if he knew about the weed and the guns and everything like that. Like to what extent does he know? But he should have probably assumed
I feel
that
like
he wasn't going to be the
somebody-
one
I
getting
feel
in trouble
like
for
as
it.
an artist, when you got your troops with you,
Yeah.
you know something.
You got a whole bunch of people there though that are going to take the charge.
You got
That
your troops with you, and that's why I feel like they fucked up. I feel like whoever was on that plane, at the point where he had all them pills, and he feel like he got to do something like that, his friend's supposed to take some of them pills away, and they're supposed to divvy them up and do those. I understand he in the terminal, and there's no bathroom to flush him down, all that shit, man. Spread that shit out. Spread those charges out. Spread whatever it is out, because now we don't even know what's going on with the charges that's coming from the fucking pounds or whatever going on with that whole situation, right?
Right.
So if it was able to end like that after he died, it could have ended
But
like that. When he
the
was
Fed
alive.
said it was a dead case, like in the sense that they're not even trying to pursue it because I think that they know that nobody on board is going to talk about
Is
it,
gonna
so
talk
they got
about it.
nothing to go on.
You know what I'm saying?
Which is
So-
kind of crazy because that means that even this, it's kind of like the perfect crime, Which is kind of amazing that it worked out. Like aside from the fucking
The
juice
death,
situation, it's kind of like wow, that really was
That's
the
what it
way to
took?
do that.
Yeah. So it's like it's kind of wild.
Yeah.
And I think it's really sad that that's how you had to lose such a phenomenal artist. To a situation like that. Regardless of whether we're talking about high level drug use or addiction or whatever it is, because at the end of the day, whatever you want to call them demons, whatever they were, he was clearly dealing with them just fine enough for him to be functioning. We have a bunch of artists out here that's having seizures on stage and seizures in the middle of shit going on and still not, reconciling from what's going on with it or acting like they know how it's happening. And we did lose Fredo. We watched Fredo deteriorate. Like it's not like he was just like something else killed him.
Right.
Like that was a real legend. Like we just watched it just eat his whole shit away, and boom, he just died. At a young age.
And there's a lot of people that if they were to pass, and I think Juice is actually probably like the prime example where it's like if he passes, the fans have got to feel some degree of being implicated in a way, because it's like this is a large percentage of what his music was about.
This is what you wanted to hear from me.
It's like you have to learn. Like people, we can't give up on our hope that the fans will learn something from their heroes dying.
Yeah. I mean, I always hope that. That's why I'm there to try to give me, oh, yeah, make another You Guessed It, or make another this. I'm like, no, I'm not going to make another of whatever it is, because that's not where we're at. You know, I feel like what I need to make for you is what you need, not always what you want.
Yeah, where do you feel like you are at music-wise at this point?
I feel like I'm in a mature state of rambunctiousness. I feel like I'm an older rebel, you know, where now I understand how to rebel while existing inside of a system. Because if you try and rebel too hard, then the system just
Get in the mic a little more.
The system just shoots you out, you know, and the impact of what you're doing never really gets felt. And if you do too little, then, you know, no one ever even realizes that you're trying to fight against what's going on. But if you make the right moves and you still make the music enjoyable for the kids, then they talk about your life, right? And they relate it to their life, but the things still happen. Just like you hear, I'm on the rocks, you know, and you're like, oh, he's on fucking Sunset. Oh, shit. It's instantly relatable, if you know anything about L.A. whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, when the kids hear, I got the song with Fabo, my only feature on there, shouts to Fabo. When you hear that tech and walk and that snap music, it automatically bring in the people that's my age who they remember, you know what I'm saying, going to snap. But the content that's going in there is still, you know, I got to take it a walk. Yeah, I'm talking about the drugs at the same time. But does this mean you have to do them? No, I'm not telling you to do them to be cool. No, I'm not telling you, like, I'm doing these drugs to make me feel better either. I'm just saying this is where it is. So this is my rebellion against whatever this structure is. And when it's time to make the more intelligible music to say, oh, yeah, you know, stand up and fight for this, whatever it is, I'll do that. But right now, I feel like there's so much negativity and bullshit going on in the world, especially with this president we got now and the state of affairs in the world, that right now people just need to have a good fucking time. And I'm more interested, like I was when I made You Guessed It and shit, I'm more interested in giving people a good time right now than I am with some fucking message to try and force feed them. I don't want to do that.
I mean, it could be tough, like to you know, feed the people what they need to hear, but mixing it in. It's like mixing the aspirin with the medicine when you got a kid or a dog who doesn't want to take the pill.
Yeah, you gotta hide it.
You gotta hide it.
You gotta hide it in there, man. And, you know, and that's what I'm doing. And I feel like, you know, a lot of times it's a simple conversation of expressionism. People don't feel like they don't get to talk about these things in an open platform. You know, they don't get to talk about how they feel in a real way. You know, they don't get to talk about why they're doing the drugs. You know, that's why I put, like, in the intro of my tape, you know, I put, you know, the part where you know, I'll let people do their own research, but it's a part in there, it's an interview where the guy's like, you know, yeah, my girlfriend broke up with me, you know, because she woke up and walked in on me nodding, you know, and that was really relatable to me because I remember my girl telling me I'm a fucking addict or whatever it was from the simple effects of my pain medicine making me nod off and telling me I'm gonna leave me, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm still trying to fight, even though it feels like I'm under the control of something. I'm still trying to fight. You know, I'm still trying to fight whatever's going on, and I feel like that's what the kids need to realize. Like, just keep fighting, Like, don't let all this shit just wear you down so much that you stop fighting. All the artists dying, all the fucking drugs. Don't never let that supplement who you are on the inside. That fight that you should have. Like, don't let that shit go nowhere.
NoJumper.com. Like, comment, subscribe. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you want one of these, you know where to go. And then No Jumper Facebook too, link is down in the description. Some good stuff going on over there. Appreciate y'all watching this.